Today, we're going to dig into some timeless wisdom that asks a question a lot of us probably grapple with. When does hope, that good feeling we have, actually turn into a kind of dangerous self-deception?
So let's just jump right in with a question that gets to the absolute heart of it. Can having good thoughts about God become a form of self-deception? According to the classic text we're looking at today, the answer is a big, resounding yes.
The source we're exploring actually calls this a spiritual disease. And what is it? It's the belief that you can hold on to all these good, hopeful thoughts about God, while at the same time, you're consistently doing things that go against his guidance. The author says, nope, that just doesn't add up, and here's why.
There's this great quote from the early scholar al-Hasan al-Basri that just lays it all out. What you think and what you do are completely linked. Good thoughts, you get good actions. Corrupted thoughts, well, you get corrupted actions. They're two sides of the same coin. You can't have one without the other.
And it goes even deeper. The text argues that when someone keeps doing the wrong thing, it creates this kind of spiritual despair, this feeling of being distant and lost. And that feeling, that inner turmoil, makes it literally impossible to have genuine, positive thoughts about your Lord. The two just can't exist in the same space. So, if that's the disease, let's get to the diagnosis. The author basically puts this whole mindset on trial, exposing how contradictory it is through a series of really sharp, powerful questions.
And the logic here is just relentless. He asks, think about it. How can you say you have good thoughts about your Lord when your actions show you're running away from him, when you're diving headfirst into the very things that displease him?
And it doesn't stop there. It gets even more intense. How can you claim to have good thoughts while you're basically waging war against him, siding with his enemies? I mean, the language is so strong here because it's meant to show you how completely absurd this position is. And all of this builds to the final knockout question. What is this really, other than a total self-deception, a delusional false hope? The diagnosis is crystal clear. This isn't hope, it's a dangerous illusion.
All right, so if that's the disease and the diagnosis, what's the cure? Well, now the text pivots, and it starts to define what real, authentic hope and good thoughts are supposed to look like.
And here's the huge difference. True good thoughts aren't just a lazy, passive feeling. The source tells us it's an active hope. It's something that actually helps people who turn back, who regret what they did, and who actively start doing good things. It's earned, you see, not just wished for. And to really drive this point home, the author shares this incredibly powerful story from the final days of the Prophet Muhammad's life, which shows this exact principle in action. So the story goes that even while he was seriously ill, at the very end of his life, he remembered he had 6 or 7 gold coins, and he couldn't rest. He insisted they be given away to the poor immediately, and he asked this incredible question: what would the Prophet of Allah be thinking if he met Allah whilst these were still in his possession? It shows this deep, immediate need to make sure his actions lined up perfectly with his beliefs, right up to the very last moment. So what does this all look like in practice? Well, the text explains that it's all about creating this positive feedback loop, this amazing relationship where your good thoughts and your good actions just feed each other. It's a really simple but powerful cycle. Step 1, having genuine good thoughts, really believing in God's mercy and reward, that inspires you to do good things. And then, step 2, doing those good things actually strengthens and deepens those good thoughts you started with. It's a beautiful upward spiral. And a saying from the prophet quoted in the text just nails this whole contrast. He says, "The smart person, the astute one, is the one who holds themselves accountable and works for what comes after this life. But the helpless one, that's the person who just follows their whims and desires, all while clinging to this empty, false hope."
Okay, so let's pull all these threads together for a final checkup. We're going to put true hope and delusion side by side so we can see the difference clear as day.
And the contrast is just so stark, isn't it? On one side, genuine hope is for people who repent. On the other, delusion is for people who are defiant. Real hope inspires you to act, while delusion becomes an excuse for inaction. Hope leads to accountability. Delusion just lets you follow your desires. It's so clear. One is built on effort, the other is built on thin air.
And to just hammer this point home one last time, the author brings up a verse about who can truly hope for God's mercy. And who is it? It's those who have believed and those who emigrated and fought for the sake of Allah. Again and again, hope is tied directly to belief plus effort plus struggle plus action.
So, this brings us to the one final, crucial question that this whole text leaves us with. A question for all of us to ask ourselves. Is the hope that I carry inside me an engine that's pushing me to change and be better? Or is it just a comfortable excuse to stay exactly where I am?